as the curtains are coming to a close, I suppose the kind of final message I would say is, first of all, to the team. If I've received any success through all this time, it's because I've been standing on the shoulders of giants. And so the team have never let me down in any endeavor we've done over the past 10 years for zombies. And it kind of chokes me up to kind of think about that, because they rocked and rolled through the whole thing and turned out amazing game content, which each and every one of them can be incredibly proud of. So, if we went back in time, or I wasn't born in this age, I'd probably be sitting at a campfire telling stories somewhere. So
maybe in a frozen forest.
Maybe in a frozen forest. So that's where I kind of draw my inspiration. But
Well, ladies and gentlemen, part of the journey is the end. This is dkdynamite, and Jason Blundell has officially departed from Treyarch Studios. Now, I honestly saw this coming. I'm not sure about you guys out there, but I've heard a lot of whispers behind the scenes over the past few months, and I really thought this was coming at least a couple of weeks before the official reveal of Call of Duty 2020. Now, it seems like the rumors were true, and I'll go more in depth with that later on in this video, but Treyarch officially tweeted out Jason Blundell's departing statement. So here it is. After 13 fantastic, action-packed years, I am moving on from Treyarch. During my time with the studio, I've been privileged to work on a variety of projects, wearing many hats, Revelations hats, along the way, with my time on the Zombies team proving to be quite special. It's a team comprised of some of the most creative and talented developers in the industry, many of whom you never see because they're behind the scenes, shaping the direction of each experience. Clearly, I'd be remiss if I didn't personally thank the group that continues to make it all worth it. The Zombies community. Your passion, enthusiasm, and frankly your craziness has been a continued source of inspiration. The beauty of Zombies is that it has always been about the interaction between us as developers and one of the most passionate player communities on the planet. There are memories I will cherish for a lifetime. The team at Treyarch has been nothing short of awesome. Thank you, and thank you to the fans for giving me the opportunity to bring life to the undead in so many wonderful ways. The honor has been all mine. Jason Blundell. Now, there was obviously quite a bit of controversy this past summer when rumors speculated that Blundell had either been fired from Treyarch or had already left. Activision then put out a statement saying that no, Blundell was still working on directing DLC 3 and 4 for Black Ops 4 while also working on other creative projects. Now, as of a couple of months ago, I was also told by some really reputable people that Blundell was actually working on the new IP for Activision that would fill the gap that Destiny once had. And that makes a lot of sense. And I'm not sure when that new IP would be revealed, but it seems like Blundell either left Treyarch or is now making it official to continue working on that other IP for Activision, or maybe he's just left Activision entirely and is not working on any type of IP and is going elsewhere. But do keep that in mind. There could be an announcement a couple of months or a couple of years from now that Blundell is still under the Activision umbrella, just working at a completely different studio now. We just have no idea. Or for all we know too, when those rumors came out to be that Blundell was no longer working on Black Ops 4 and was working on this other IP, maybe that was the moment he had stepped away from Treyarch, but now is when he put out an official statement for the community to know. But it's really sad news, and honestly it has not been the best day, and I'm kind of in shock about it, even though I expected it. It's kind of one of those really weird gray areas of emotion, right? And I've also heard rumors over the past few weeks that dkdynamite is now the new director of Call of Duty Zombies going forward, at least for Treyarch. So he'll probably be directing COD 2020 Zombies. Do keep in mind though, Craig Houston is still on board as a writer over at Treyarch. The day we lose Craig Houston is really the day we lose. Craig Houston can really clutch up. As long as you get a pretty competent director for Treyarch to work on the Zombies, I think everything will be just fine, right? Craig Houston is the lead writer. Blundell helped co-write quite a few things, but Craig Houston really picked up the slack with Black Ops 4, and I really appreciate that about him. So I can't wait to see what direction he takes Zombies come this fall. But think about the struggle with Black Ops 4, right? Maybe, other things happen behind the scenes that we have no idea about, besides the fact that Blundell had a campaign planned out for Black Ops 4 that just didn't work out in the end, and then Blackout had to be shoehorned in. vision, and then Zombies suffered because of that. But Blundell still tried his very best to stay true to his vision. And it's funny because I was even told by another insider that Factions was all Blundell. Blundell was the one that wanted the Factions feature in the game, but because he stopped working at Treyarch, or I should say because he stopped working on Black Ops 4 at first, that's probably why Factions suffered the fate that it did and the rest of the studio just turned it into contracts. That's probably what happened, since it seems like Factions was a passion project for Jason Blundell and giving back to the community, right? Blundell himself even confirmed Nguyen's cookbook was coming back. That never came. So it seems like everything that Blundell cared about or had planned on releasing just didn't happen for Black Ops 4. So that gets me thinking that Blundell probably stopped working at Treyarch long before the statement even came out, which makes a lot of sense and really does tie up a lot of loose ends, I would say. Really connects the dots with things I've heard from different reputable people in the community. But Black Ops 4 didn't have the best run, and we'll be honest about that. As much as I love Black Ops 4, it didn't have the best run. There's a lot of struggles behind the scenes, but Treyarch really tried their best, and I absolutely love what they did with the operations, what they did with the Chaos storyline. But where does this leave COD 2020 now? So yeah, Craig Houston's still on board. Danny Donahoe might be the new Zombies director. We just don't know yet. But Zombies is still going to be as strong as possible. I know Treyarch will try their absolute best, thanks to the support of Sledgehammer and Raven as well. So I'm not really worried about COD 2020 because I didn't think Blundell was coming back anyway. I'll be honest about that. With all the things I've heard over the past couple of months, I didn't think Blundell was going to come back for COD 2020, even though people out there thought he was. People out there thought that Blundell, had stopped working on Black Ops 4 because COD 2020 had to be rushed into development, but it doesn't seem like that was the case. Unless that was the case and Blundell's like, you know what, this just isn't working out for me. I just can't possibly rush yet another Call of Duty on top of having to work with Sledgehammer and Raven. Maybe that's what it was, but looking at the information I've heard, it just doesn't seem like that was the case. Now, we also have that statement from Activision. I think it was either before or after Alpha Omega came out, when people were speculating that Blundell was gone. They put out a statement saying he was still working on directing DLC 3 and 4 alongside another IP for them. It doesn't seem like that statement is necessarily 100% true, because as I've also gone over before, just like the Transit remakes, Transit, Die Rise, and Buried, it's really apparent that both Alpha Omega and Tag Your Toten were maps that were done long before they even came out or were even revealed to us, right? All of that was already in Blackout to begin with, so I don't think this past summer Blundell was necessarily directing DLC 3 and 4. I think that was their very simple way of damage control, right? Not having to put out a statement about Blundell departing this past summer to make sure that Black Ops 4's player base stays as strong as possible till the very end before Modern Warfare came out. I think that's pretty smart, because he did direct DLC 3 and 4 in the sense that he planned everything out with Craig Houston, but he wasn't sitting down with the devs working on Alpha and Tag, is what I'm trying to say. And I think that makes the most sense when looking at this, from a greater spectrum here. I will have some COD 2020 videos out really soon, since somebody actually reached out to me with supposed inside information, and some of it is starting to line up quite a bit, so I may just cover it here in the channel in the case the person is legit. But there's also some really cool ideas the person brought up, which I do want to address in some upcoming videos at some point later next week. But right when this announcement happened earlier, the first thing I thought of was, okay, now this makes sense, right? It was probably planned all along for Blundell to depart from Treyarch at some point, either during year 1 or year 2 of Black Ops 4, and that's why Ether was not left off on a cliffhanger at the end of Black Ops 4 season. Because one thing I've been saying, all over my streams and in previous videos, is that if Treyarch found out they had to make COD 2020 and they're like, all right, shit, our budget's getting cut, we don't have much we can do now, we have to work on the next game while still finishing Black Ops 4 season. If that was the case, then why didn't they just say, all right, well, how about we end Ether off on a cliffhanger with DLC 3 and 4, right? Put some nice build up in DLC 3 and 4 so that we can properly end Ether with full budget in COD 2020. Why was that not the case? If Activision told them, hey, you gotta stop doing Chaos, go back to Ether for DLC 3, why didn't they just plan that out? And it all makes sense, right? If Blundell was gonna end up leaving after Black Ops 4, the rest of the studio is probably like, all right, well, I think it's probably best to end Ether in Black Ops 4, because that kind of is Blundell's story, right? Blundell came in when Zelensky was still working on Ether, took over, and took the story to new lengths with the ending of Black Ops 2, all of Black Ops 3, and most of Black Ops 4. So I think it is appropriate to be like, all right, Craig Houston's going to stay on as a writer, but because Blundell played such a big role in making Ether what it is today, it's probably best to end off Ether out of respect for Blundell so that in COD 2020 they can go in a fresh direction, let it be with Chaos or with something completely different. And that's another point too, right? Blundell and Craig Houston started Chaos together, but maybe Blundell's like, all right, Craig, I know we ended Ether, but go and continue Chaos even when I'm gone. Maybe that was set in stone, but again, based on recent information from reputable insiders, it doesn't seem like Activision is really interested in doing Chaos again for COD 2020, even though Ancient Evil was received very well. The story finally started getting good for most people out there who weren't really interested with Voyage and 9 or Dead of the Night. So it would be great to see if Craig can continue Chaos, but if not, it looks like they're probably going to be starting fresh with the next Call of Duty, which to me is a bit disappointing, but also keep in mind, Lee Ross still does work at Treyarch, so maybe he can step up a little bit, bring some of the fire that was part of Infinite Warfare season to Treyarch's team and make something truly special again. You know, we have absolutely no idea, but there's also information about what Sledgehammer and Raven were working on before Treyarch stepped up to take control of COD 2020, and it was apparently very heavily focused on the Vietnam War, and presumably there would have been some type of Vietnam zombies experience that probably wasn't connected to the story of World War II zombies, but I'm sure Treyarch would have been like, all right, well, that's a pretty cool concept, let's really flesh that out and make it something truly special. So maybe some type of Vietnam zombie story is going to work out at some point in the next game. We just have no idea. But, you know, another thing I've been seeing too after this announcement is, oh, Zombies is officially dead. They should have brought Zelensky back. And it's like, just think about this, right? Think about how difficult it is to not only make a game, but to make a Call of Duty under Activision's umbrella. You know, all the dev teams, to be honest with you, have really clutched up in ways that probably wouldn't have been possible if there was another studio making that game. I think the way that the studios have handled crunch time and tight schedules and rush development under Activision's umbrella has been truly phenomenal. And I really don't ever blame developers for some of the fatal flaws that, you know, are present in a Call of Duty game, because most of the time it's not their fault, right? There are things that they take accountability for, and there are things that developers are absolutely at fault for when it comes to certain issues in the game, and that's just a fact, right? Sometimes it's not either or's issue, right? Sometimes it's both of them combined that aren't making things work, right? That's usually what happens in game development. But with Black Ops 4 specifically, I don't put all the blame on Treyarch, and I really tip my hat off to how Blundell handled everything with Black Ops 4, how he tried to essentially one-up Black Ops 3, which to me is very hard to do, but he tried. Not only did he do that, but he took the zombie storyline out of a corner that Zelensky left it in with, I would say, all of Black Ops 1 and a little bit of Black Ops 2, right? Zelensky still returned for Black Ops 2 with Transit, with Die Rise, most of Barry, but Blundell tried his absolute best to take the story out of a corner, to go to new lengths, to improve the gameplay drastically, and that's exactly what he did. And people who enjoyed maps like Mob of the Dead and Origins absolutely love what Blundell did in Black Ops 3 when he was, you know, front and center, director of zombies for the entire season. Black Ops 3 is really the only game where Blundell really got to show his time to shine, really got to show what he's made of. With Black Ops 4, he just didn't get that chance because halfway through the season, so many things went wrong. Today, we should just be celebrating everything Blundell has done for the community, everything he's done for the Ether storyline, and I cannot wait to see what Treyarch does next in their next COD. But I know for a fact the memories Blundell created with the community, all the memes, all the storyline, all the ciphers, that can never be taken away from us. All of that is truly, truly special and will always be in our hearts, you know, as true Zombies fans. But let me know what you think of this down below in the comment section. This has been dkdynamite. What do you guys think about Blundell departing from Treyarch? What do you think is in store for the future of Call of Duty Zombies over at Treyarch? And do you actually believe that Blundell's been gone for longer than we've known, and the statement is just coming out today, even though he's probably been gone for the past couple of months? Let me know your thoughts, and peace out, everyone.
Oh, by the way, did I mention the giant robots?